This is the first time Xiaomi is really launching their T series a lot more earlier, and I've been using the 17T Pro for about 2 weeks right now. With very minor improvements over the 15T Pro which I have with me. Who is the 17T Pro for? Well, personally, I think it's for users who are coming from a much more older T series or who wants to experience the Leica camera at an attainable price point. Let's just get into it, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, to give a quick comparison between the 15 Pro we saw last year, almost 90% of the things that you see here with the 17T Pro is pretty much the same. The camera, the display, the feel, the looks, every single thing is exactly the same, except for a few places where you do see some minor improvement. That's the processor, which now we get a new Mediatek Dimensity 9500, the battery, which now features a 7000 mAh battery, and it's a silicon carbon battery. I'll get into that later. The charging speed has increased wired. Now it's a 100 watt wired compared to the 90 watt we saw last year, and the wireless remains to be the same. And finally, we have the camera, and for the camera, only one sensor improved. Apart from that, we pretty much see the same setup as last year. And can I just say that I'm so happy that Xiaomi didn't do what a lot of other brands did, which is make a rip-off of a design. I mean, you know, the orange color, the same design as the iPhone, which somehow every other brand is going on for now right now. I'm actually having a huge relief, because I asked around and people said, if I want my phone to look like the iPhone 17 Pro, I'd rather buy an iPhone 17 Pro. But jabs aside, it's nice to see that the Xiaomi 17T Pro has the nice looking design that we have seen from the 15T Pro, and it stands out in every way. It should. This year you get a new color, by the way, and this particular color really does do an absolute justice in a bright light. Let's talk about the camera. Last year, Xiaomi added the optical telephoto setup into the 15T Pro, and this year we get the same exact setup with no change in that department. So while you do get the same range in shooting some decent photo, you will have a little bit of the softness in the photo which we saw last year as well, and you will need a bit of a steady hands to get it right. But the main camera got the upgrade to the Light Fusion 950 sensor, which is the same sensor you'll find in the Xiaomi 17. Now, after shooting some photos, Xiaomi has finally fixed one of the biggest problems that I had with the 15T and the 14T Pro. Now, remember my last video where I talked about ISPs, where, like, you know, different processor gives different colors, especially the Snapdragon and the Mediatek processor have varying colors. Now, I can safely say that's a thing of the past now, because there's more life in the 17T Pro's photo with a nice warm tone bias, pleasantly exposed, a well-retained detail, which is the color signs you will find in a normal Snapdragon powered Xiaomi 17 or in general. Right? Now we finally get the color signs on a Mediatek powered smartphone. Now it gets better when you compare this broad daylight photo at this station where the yellows and the reds on top are well retained, and it's washed out on the 15T Pro. And again, the warmer tones on the 17T Pro has more life to it, and in fact was true to what I saw with my very own eyes. I'm very happy about that. Okay, though it's just one sensor that changed, which usually would happen like generationally. I'm happy that the right one changed, and I can pit it against one of the flagships that we have here, and you can see how well the 17T Pro handles, and I love that we get good cameras finally without the need to spend so much. Now, apart from that, the rest of the camera setup is pretty much the same with the preserved colors, but obviously it still requires some software tweaking to improve. Of course, you get the Leica experience, which we are no strangers to. After all, the Leica experience is intertwined into the Xiaomi ecosystem these days, more so than ever. Okay, let's talk about the processor. Now, the new 17T Pro is powered by the Mediatek Dimensity 9500, and this processor offers better power efficiency and gaming performance. In fact, we play some games on it, and you can see on the screen based on what settings we used, what works and what doesn't. Last year, 9400 Plus did a good job, though we had some very minor drops here and there. But the 9500's larger L3 cache, higher clock speeds has definitely put this particular processor a little bit on the higher level. In fact, the thermal is a little bit more better compared to the 9400 Plus. Even the 9400 Plus, in my opinion, didn't get hot that much. But to be honest, we have had good performance in general with Mediatek processors lately, and I think you're going to get a pretty good experience with this one, especially Obviously, if you put it against the 15T Pro, you can't really tell it apart, but if you're coming from a much older smartphone, obviously you can tell that the new 9500 is a fantastic processor. Apart from that, Xiaomi has increased the charging speed by 10 watts more, totaling at 100 watts fast charging wired, and the 50 watt fast charging for wireless remains the same. Now, Malaysian units will get a charger included inside the box, but we couldn't test this part yet. Hey guys, so a bit of a quick update. We actually did have a 100 watt fast charger from Xiaomi to actually charge the 17T Pro, and that's this 20,000 milliamp hour power bank with 165 watt charging, and we actually did quickly test it out, and in just about 20 to 25 minutes we got the phone battery from 37% all the way up to the 88% mark, which is crazy fast. So I thought I should let you all know, and I'm gonna let the Jaya that already recorded the entire video get back to his stuff. Alright. However, what we did test was the new 7000 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery, and the Xiaomi 17T Pro gets this, which means you have a whole new experience with better battery life in the long run. Whatever I've addressed so far, well, these are minor improvements compared to the 15T Pro. Now, we know why Xiaomi had no room to make big improvements this year, and that's because of the current RAM and storage price hike, no thanks to AI. Now, we have seen this pattern from other smartphone brands as well, but to still improve in other aspects wherever they could, you know what? I appreciate that. Thanks to Xiaomi for actually still doing that minor improvements. And there are some software improvements which we have tried, and we will be uploading those content on our Instagram, so follow us over there. So should everybody upgrade to the Xiaomi 17T Pro? Well, personally, I think that users who are on the 15T Pro, especially last year's model, right, can stay on that because the minor jump isn't a deal breaker. However, if you're coming from a much older smartphone, be it could be a Xiaomi smartphone, or if you wanted to try a Xiaomi smartphone, or if you want a Xiaomi 17 but with a bigger display instead, then this is the one you should go for. Now, by now, I'm sure if you're on a much older phone, there's a chance that you may not receive new updates, but the Xiaomi 17 Pro gives you 5 years of OS updates and 6 years of security updates, which means you're not just buying a phone for like temporary use case, you're actually getting for a long run. Now, price-wise, the Xiaomi 17T Pro is priced at the following range. So would you buy it, or are you waiting for the next generation? Well, let us know down in the comment section below. And thank you so much to Xiaomi Malaysia for making this video happen. We will see you guys in another video. Until then, this is Prithviraj signing off. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.